right, welcome back, welcome in. You have found us once again. Shoot the Gap, the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Focus Show, here to help you to be gruntled with your fantasy football team and your fantasy football decisions. I am your humble host, and I'm the only one dude here. Brian the Amigo Baldwin, that's me. I'm so glad you're able to join me. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Yeah, how was it? Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? I mean, mine was good. Mine was good. If you're curious, I had, was bold. I stood by my decision. If you watched the previous Shoot the Gap episode, I said that Zach Charbonnet was a must start. So I started him, and I can't be mad at him. RB2 numbers. It was fine. But I did have Mostert and Miami's defense, so I did all right in one league. In the other one, I had Mostert and see the smile? Yeah. This is a Christian McCaffrey smile. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. Hopefully you did too. Hopefully you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. All right, so this is our 177th show, November 25th, in this hopeful year of our Lord. And man, got a great show for you today. Plain and simple, just got this start-sit, the last-minute advice start-sit show for week 12. So, and of course, there's a little bit of news that popped up, so let's just jump right into that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and let's just get started with the news here. All right, so with D'Onta Foreman, let's start there. How about we start there? Yikes. So he's been deemed doubtful for the Monday Night Football game versus the Vikings. So that should clear up the backfield a bit, right? It's now it's just going to be Herbert and Roschon Johnson. So KHALIL Herbert, he's back. 1 week removed from his from being back. So usually statistically, whenever running backs are back, the second week they're a lot better than the first because they have to be. Because that first one was not what you're hoping for, man. But you think that now it's more clear that it's time to go, right? Time to go? Not so fast. The Vikings, check this out, everybody. The Vikings are allowing 3.4 yards per carry since week 7. And Justin Fields, last week, led the team in carries and yardage. Okay, not good. And also, last week, week 11, the Bears called 13 designed runs for their quarterback, the most by any team in any game this season. Okay, and that was with all three of those dudes. That was before Foreman. That was the game. That's the game plan. So the game plan wasn't for Foreman to go out. The game plan was for him to be in, which he started, and then the guy who got the most of the runs was Justin Fields. So you tell me. All right, go back to week 6. When the Bears and the Vikings play, you tell me if you want that output in your lineup, okay? You got three-headed monster here, man, okay? And it really goes just like this, in this order. Fields, Herbert, and Roschon Johnson, okay? So it makes the running backs unplayable. So, yeah, don't fall for it. It's a trap. It's a grenade. Don't jump on it, right? As far as KHALIL Herbert, don't do it. I would not recommend it. This is a start-sit show. We'll be talking about start-sits a little bit more direct and as the show goes. But right off the news with D'Onta Foreman. I know you're excited. I know you think that KHALIL Herbert, okay, the way's clear, but it's not. Justin Fields is there. And I know that you're thinking about there was that 1 week when D'Onta Foreman did really well, or a couple of weeks, right? So obviously the running game is good. And in Washington, when they played Washington, whenever Herbert got hurt, he was doing well. But nah, man, I wouldn't do that. Washington, as we see, the defense is a sieve. You can run against it with no problem. And then also those other 2 times after Washington, that was sans Fields. So yeah, I wouldn't do it. All right, so the moving on, the Chiefs, they have placed wide receiver McCole Hardman on IR, and wide receiver Kadarius Toney has been ruled out for Sunday. So what does this mean? Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it real quick. Okay, this is really cool when I did this research. All right, so I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you because it's really interesting. Because you start off with an idea that is the right idea, okay, which is Rashid Rice is a great start. Okay, he is. All right, if you're going to start a wide receiver from Kansas City, that's the guy you want to go with, Rashee Rice. Okay, and it kind of clears the way a little bit. Okay, because Kadarius Toney, McCole Hardman, okay, are out. But let me break this down with you. Okay, so with the exception of Week 10, okay, versus Miami, okay, he only saw 2 targets. Dating back to Week 8, Rashee Rice has seen 6 targets, 5 targets, 2 targets, and then 5. Right? So 6, 5, 2, and 5. So that's pretty good, especially with Kelsey around, right? Yeah. Now, so you're thinking like, okay, great. With no Hardman, with no Kadarius Toney, that means that's wheels up for Rashee Rice. Everything's clear, right? Is it? Let me go ahead and explain this to you real quick, right? Now, I did a little bit more digging, all right? Over that same span, since week 8, okay, that I just gave you, since week 8, okay, remember what I just gave you earlier. Hartman and Toney combined. McCole Hardman and Kadarius Toney combined. This is how many targets they had combined starting in week 8. 4 combined, 3 combined, 5 combined, and 3 combined. So, again, that's all combined. So, yeah, man, he'll get a couple more targets. But it's still going to be Kelsey, number one, and then everybody else, right? But again, if you're going to start a Kansas City wide receiver, Rashee Rice would be the guy. Because, man, come on. Are you really going to start MVS? I mean, really, after all that? I mean, Tito's right in his hand. It's like, Anyway, whatever, man. But we shouldn't be surprised. MVS has been doing that, back to, the Packer days. We talked about that the last show. No need to rehash that painful thing. But yeah, so I want to go and make sure and let y'all know about how to look at that. And I will tell you right now, you're going to see a theme whenever I talk about Kansas City, that it's actually going to be a pretty good. I think that Mahomes. One thing we found out about Mahomes whenever the curtain was pulled back was that he is a competitor. He doesn't like to lose. He always likes to be better and will do anything he can to prove that, right? And last week was his worst fantasy football outing ever, right? I think he's going to come out really strong against Vegas this Sunday. So we'll talk about that. Everybody's worried about Patrick Mahomes if you should start him, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's keep going with the actives and the inactives. All right, other inactives. T. Higgins, he'll be out again for the Bengals, but I don't think you were going to start him anyway, right? Because we're not sure if the quarterback Jake Browning can support one wide receiver, let alone 2. So, Jamar Chase is the alpha, so Jamar Chase can be a fine start there, but you weren't going to start T. Higgins there. I mean, Tyler Boyd, sure. Here's one cool thing that maybe Irwin, dude. Maybe that Irwin guy, because you know how the backups always like to target the backups, and that's what I was going to say about Tyler Boyd, is that maybe he'll get more targets, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, as far as just on the onset, you weren't going to start him anyway, so that shouldn't affect your lineup one way or the other. The Packers placed Luke Musgrave on IR due to a lacerated kidney. Yeesh. Yeah, so he's out. Okay, and the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, will be without wide receiver Michael Wilson and Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood Brown is questionable after missing Thursday and Friday's practice with what was labeled as precautionary by the head coach Jonathan Gannon. So, but so you look at that and you're like, okay, how's this going to affect things? I don't think it's really going to affect Kyler Murray that much, to be honest with you. I mean, he's got a good safe floor because of his wheels. You already know that. His legs gets him there. But as far as passing, I mean, as long as Rondale Moore and Trey McBride are healthy, which they are, I think everything should be fine. Okay, because those are the guys that he targets. The loss of Hollywood would be a big thing, but it's not something that I think maybe Rondale Moore would probably get more involved in that respect. Trey McBride, I'm telling you, man, it's so crazy. He seems like he's the main target for Kyler Murray, but we'll find out. Last week was a little bit of a disappointment for McBride, but we'll find out about this week. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. The New Orleans Saints, the last one, the New Orleans Saints have placed, and this is a big one, everybody. This one's bigger than what people think. Star cornerback Marshawn Lattimore on IR due to a high ankle sprain. So, passing options can breathe easier against that defense now. So they're kind of a little bit like the Lions and the Buccaneers now. I think that they're hard to run against, but they're beatable against the pass attack. And before going into this whole into the year and up until this point, he was actually what's his name? The New Orleans Saints were actually like one of those like, man, why didn't I draft him type defenses? And I know that's what everybody thinks right now. But without Lattimore, it's a big deal. Okay, that's a big deal. You can go ahead and go back and look at the points and about how they performed. But yeah, not having Lattimore is a big deal. So yeah, I don't think that the New Orleans Saints defense is as scary now. To be honest with you, that one guy out, I know it's not that much, but yeah, I think there are people you shouldn't be too concerned about now. All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on. Let's move on to the reason why you are watching this episode, other than me and my smiling face, is because of the last minute start sit, week 12. Everything's on the line. I know it is for a lot of people. Like, if you're like me, man, you're fighting to get in the playoffs. Yeah, we're there, dude. We're in the playoff mode already. You're already in playoff mode. I mean, it's you're week to week. You're like your season is. We're there already. Yeah, so this is it. Buckle up, man. Tie in. Oh, this last month is going to be a bugger. All right, so here we go. Let's do it. I'm here to try to help you to make good decisions. Hopefully my advice will help. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start with the quarterbacks. So the easy starts, of course, are Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. Yeah, I know. But he, according to him, he's effing back, so you got to trust him, So, but there's some other people that I'll connect to that offense that it's not. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Josh Allen is a good start. Lamar Jackson against the Chargers. Yeah, man. The Chargers, they're weak against the run. They're weak against the pass. What does Lamar Jackson do? He runs and he passes. Hey, there we go. Mahomes, like I was saying, dude, I think this is going to be a great game for Mahomes. And even though Dak Prescott has already played and he did incredible, I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the I'm going to say it. I know, that's what's weird, man. That's where we're at right now. This is where we're at. We're saying that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the QB1 overall for the week is like a spicy take now. I mean, how weird is this world right now? It's not him. It's his wide receivers that couldn't catch, and you better bet that they're going to put like a little bit more of that stickum stuff on those gloves, man. Those gloves are like soaking in that stickum stuff right now overnight, So yeah, he better not clack because it's it's gonna be something. Anyway, talking about all the wide receivers for the Chiefs, but anyway, C.J. Stroud, yeah, against Jacksonville, that's gonna be a good one. I think that that's gonna be a really good match. C.J. Stroud. I mean, that's one of those guys that looks like he's really popped up. I'm a Texans fan, so I'm super excited. You know what? It's foreign. I'm not used to looking at our quarterback and being proud of our quarterback, or being proud of the Texans. It's a new feeling. It really is. It's crazy. But it's a good feeling. It's now I know what the other side feels like. On the other side of the ball, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, he has had a hard time in the past with the Texans, right? But he'll be like a low end QB1. I mean, we're starting. It could be, and this could be like a shootout. So we'll see how all that goes. I mean, I don't know, man. It's gonna be at home, and these Texans are something different, everybody. I mean, they really are. If you've been watching this show, I've been saying that. Oh, well, this is the time whenever the Texans are gonna mess it up. This is the time when they're gonna mess. Dude, they haven't. They haven't. It's proven that it's a different Texans. So we'll. Until they give you a reason to doubt, there's no reason to. So Trevor Lawrence, low end QB1. Justin Fields is going to be a great start. I already talked to you about his floor, about running, dual threat. So against Minnesota, I mean, it's a scary defense, but not that scary if you have all those weapons. Justin Fields, I like that. I like him as a strong start. Josh Dobbs against Chicago on the other side of that ball. Yeah, man. Yeah, was it the passer not, and then also now the run-a-not. That's what I've been hearing. Yeah, these people, man. I'm telling you, you get bored. You don't want to talk to the relatives. You come up with weird names. Anyway, Thanksgiving weekend, that is. All right, all right. So, but this even if Justin Jefferson remains out because he's questionable right now. I didn't mention that in the news because I was going to get to it as we went through it. But yeah, he's questionable right now, but he should. We'll find out. He wants to be 100% before he comes back. We'll see what happens. Point is that the Vikings are still in the playoffs. They're shooting hard. They're pushing hard. They are going to be at home. I like Dobbs and Fields both in this matchup. Kyler Murray, holy mackerel! Dude. I mean, dude, the running quarterback. I mean, the fastest guy in the field. You gotta love that. He picked up where he left off, right? Going against the Rams defense, which isn't that scary. So I think Kyler Murray's a very strong start. Let's see here, and well, let's go ahead and keep talking about other people. Justin Herbert, or let's talk about Justin Herbert, right? With his start, he's an okay start, but he's against the Baltimore Ravens, man, and we've seen how Herbert has reacted against tough defenses. And remember what I said in if you guys have been watching the whenever I did my parting shot last week, or last episode, I was talking about how you have to investigate to see whenever you see that your quarterback has a bad matchup. Is it due to it's really a good defense, or is it due to that defense is so weak against the run? You don't have to throw against him, right? And that's what it was last time with Herbert, right? And that's why he did so well. Now let's go and fast forward to Baltimore. Dude, no, Baltimore is a really good defense on both sides. All right, that O line for the Chargers, a little suspect. Herbert, I don't know, man. There's a lot of hope surrounding him, right? That he's gonna do well. And right now, dude, when we are like neck and neck, I don't know if I want to go with, man, I hope he does well. Who would I start above Justin Herbert? Other than the obvious, Hurts, Allen, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Stroud, of course. I'd start Fields over Herbert, and I'd definitely start Kyler Murray over Herbert. Josh Dowd's probably not. Yeah, because I just he's too new. Too new. Yeah, so, and Herbert's a little bit more established. I would start Herbert over Trevor Lawrence, though. Yeah, I definitely would do that. But no, yeah, I think the real line there is like I'd start Kyler Murray over Herbert. Baker Mayfield. Let's see. This Colts secondary is playing a little bit better, but their defense a little weird, right? Hard to judge. One day strong, one day not. Mayfield has a lot of weapons. So he could be a good start, a solid start, I would say. Derek Carr, I believe he's going to be playing. So it's going to be playing against the Falcons, who are kind of sneaky. They've been sneaky, kind of falling back a little bit. So on defense, so this is, and you're going to hear this. Okay, if you haven't heard this already, you're gonna be sick of this. This is going to be like one of those things, like whenever a hurricane's coming and you hear hunker down. You're just like, man, I'm so sick and tired of hearing this narrative. Or the whole the Super Bowl. Did you know that the Kelsey brothers, are related on each team? And all that. So. It's one of these narratives, but it's not. It's a narrative that has a lot of truth in it. Whoever wins between the Saints and Atlanta Falcons will be top of the division. Okay, and so it's a big game, huge game. It's at Atlanta. Okay, so Derek Carr is going to do his best to give you like a solid performance. Low QB1. I definitely would not. I would not start him above Justin Herbert. That's kind of the line there. Desmond Ridder, you're always nervous about that guy. I wouldn't start him. Wouldn't start Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett though. I do want to mention this though. He's interesting. Keep an eye on the on Pickett and also on the wide receivers for Pittsburgh, because none of those guys are starts right now, right? But they just fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, so it looks like it's going to be something where the players might respond well, maybe might not. We're gonna find out. We're gonna see. I know that there's that story about Deontay Johnson getting into a fight and all that stuff, and that's usually seen as bad, but that also could be seen as a squeaky wheel situation, and that they're not gonna run it as much as they were running it. The head coach came out and said for Pittsburgh and said that that they're not going to have a change in philosophy, right? So that makes you nervous about, you can't just go out and say, oh, it's going to be, different, whatever. No, you can't do that. We got to wait and see. So just keep an eye on those guys. Russell Wilson versus Cleveland defense. Come on, man. You don't need me to tell you. I would not start that. It's a nasty defense to start against. Stafford against Arizona. Stafford had, the matchup is really good, but Stafford has just been impossible to count on. He has. I mean, it's really weird, man, because he's got like Puka is like and you'll see. I mean, come on, this is not like a hard statement to remember. Like, it's not a shocking statement that I'm saying with Puka Nacua is a great start, right? I mean, that's not breaking news, right? But Matthew Stafford, the guy throwing him the ball, isn't. But yeah, that's just how it is. I just wouldn't trust if I didn't have to. Gardner Minshew versus the Bucks. Man, listen, I know a lot of people are down on Gardner Minshew, and he is a turnover machine. However, he's playing against the Bucks. All right, the Bucks, man, they are so weak against the run, against the pass. I'm telling you, here's a spoiler alert: Michael Pittman and Josh Downs are going to be a fantastic start because of how weak the Tampa Bay secondary is. All you have to do is just go back to the numbers of the last couple of games, and you can see how they've been torched, right? And how the quarterback's been doing. I think Gardner Minshew is going to have a great game. I think he's a strong start. Justin Herbert. There's that line. There's that Justin Herbert line. Gardner Minshew or Justin Herbert. That's where I'm at. I guess I would go with Herbert because it's just how like. Okay, how about this, man? How about this? If you already got a playoff spot, sure, man, get saucy, put in Minshew. But dude, if you're fighting for your life, nah, man, Herbert, dude, you got to go with your studs, dude. And I would do that. Cause I mean, how would you feel if you put in Minshew and you lost because you put Herbert on the bench, and then like the whole offseason, you're like, why did I start Minshew instead of Herbert? You don't want to be that dude. Don't be that dude. Will Levis, come on, man. Let's keep going. I'm not even going to comment on that. All right, let's move on to the running backs. All right, so the running backs are the easy starts: Derrick Henry, Rashad White. Even though there was a weird verbiage by Adam Schefter, he says, "Newsflash! Breaking news: Rashad White has been downgraded to questionable." Come on, man. You're good. He's good. He's going to suit up. There's already been statements saying he's going to be starting. Don't worry about Rashad White. He's going to be there. He's going to be a great start against the Colts. Saquon Barkley. Yeah, man. You're just always starting that guy. Travis Etienne. I would start him. Jonathan Taylor. Let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, yeah, you're going to start him. Man, he's just that Tampa Bay run defense is so tough. He is a pass catching running back. So yeah, man, he's a good running back too, flex option. So yeah, I mean, just I know what you're getting into. Just tipping your stuff down, but I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a world where starting him is going to be something that. Put it this way, the statement, I say it all the time, you know where I'm going with this. It's not going to lose you the week, but it's not going to win you the week. Alvin Kamara, now that Dalvin Cook, what am I going with that? Now that Derek Carr is starting, Alvin Kamara is going to be a good play. I just don't know how long Carr is going to stay in there and if he's going to play the whole time. But Alvin Kamara, you're not going to sit him, especially against Atlanta. Like I told you about, their defense is kind of faltering a little bit. Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh. How do we feel about that? I don't. I don't. I mean, I would say he's probably kind of like in the same round where Jonathan Taylor. He's in the Jonathan Taylor level, the RB2 flex thing, And the reason why is because with the new quarterback Browning, the scoring opportunities are going to go down. Everybody gets a tick down. The sinking boat lowers all tides. That's basically what's happening. Or the sinking tide. Did I say the sinking boat lowers all tides? It's backwards. The low tide lowers all boats. What was I thinking? Anyway, Weird night. It's Thanksgiving, whatever. Okay, but you guys got my point. But Joe Mixon, yeah, I think he's going to be like a flex play, an RB2 play, not something that I'm going to be too excited to play to start, especially against Pittsburgh. And you know, yeah, these these players are human, right? And whenever things happen and changes, this change, like Matt Canada could have been somebody that was so bad for the locker room that once he's gone, it kind of get like it's addition by subtraction, So we'll see how this all goes. I mean, you're gonna start Joe Mixon, just temper your expectations. Ramondre Stevenson, I would start him above Jonathan Taylor, above Joe Mixon, above Alvin Kamara, above Saquon Barkley. He's coming off the bye week. He's the main. He's going to be the main. All reports are that he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be like what the offense is going to flow through him. He's been able to keep Elliott off. I know you're worried about Ezekiel Elliott, and even so, Ramondre is the pass catching back. So if you're in full point PPR, dude, it's great news for Ramondre Stevenson against this New York Giants defense who's starting to not even, they're already starting to take vacation. Like they're making vacation plans already, so the players are. So yeah, that's where they're at. So that's definitely exploitable. And this is a Patriots team coming from a hard taskmaster in Bill Belichick off a bye week where there's been talk about, oh, this is, Bill's lost it. He doesn't have it anymore, dude. I mean, and they have 2 weeks to prepare for the Giants. This is going to be a good game for Ramondre Stevenson. I'm excited. I'm a Ramondre Stevenson manager, and I'm excited to start him. So Bijan Robinson, okay, we're going to find out what happens. It's a tough defense to run against, New Orleans, that is. But without Lattimore, maybe the passing will open up a little bit more. They can't be so dependent on putting guys on islands, so they have to scheme out, so things might relax a little bit. Bijan Robinson, we're going to find out, man. We're going to find out, because going into the bye week, remember Arthur Smith said that was the whole plan, was to unleash Bijan Robinson in the second half. We're going to find out. This is their second half, so we're going to find out. I would start him. And let's just, I have him. I'm a manager of him. So let's hope together. Collective goodwill goes towards him, in prayers, please. All right, Josh Jacobs, of course, you're going to start him. Isaiah Pacheco, you're not sitting any running back against Las Vegas. Austin Eckler is a tough start. You have to start him because of his name, but he hasn't looked right, man. He's been a little weird. Just the way that he's running, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't seem right. It seems like he's more hurt than he wants to be, and he also knows that he's on that 1 year contract, and he's trying to look for the future, trying to get those stats, to get a better contract. And it's against Baltimore. This is why I'm worried about Herbert, man. It's oof, yeah. Okay, you have to start him again. I mean, like, it's the whole Mixon. He's in Jonathan Taylor and the Mixon, Eckler, all in the same. They're all one big ball. Okay, that's them. All right, and it's going to be, just hold tight, man. Hold tight. You got to put it in and hope for double digits. DeAndre Swift is a start against Buffalo, but you're not going to sit Swift. Gus Edwards against the Chargers. Come on, of course you're going to start him. He's a strong start. Javonte Williams against Cleveland. That is a running back 2 flex start. Yeah, I'm nervous because Cleveland is a stout defense. Plus, Javonte has been, he hasn't been what you're hoping for in the past couple of weeks, but we'll see. But Cleveland's not really a get right game for most running backs, not named Zach Moss. All right, let's keep going here. Jaylen Warren, I think, is a strong start against Cincinnati. The running game, the running game should be used quite a bit, right? And that running defense is not what it used to be, for the Bengals. So, yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But I think Warren is a good, strong running back too, good flex start. Devin Singletary, man, he's been on a heater, hasn't he? He's been up and going, but man, I wouldn't start him. There's Dameon Pierce is back. He is back. Dameon Pierce is back, and I'm on the ground. I got boots on the ground here in Houston. What they're saying, and stuff that you've seen also, is that they're going to be a split backfield. So both Pierce and Singletary are not drops, but they're also not starts. We got to see what's going to happen. Seems messy to me. Kyron Williams, strong start. It's going to be an RB1, man, against the not the RB1, but going to be a RB1 against Arizona. I mean, it's the first game back, but dude, they let go of Henderson, so I think it's going to be pretty good. And Kyron Williams was just he was balling out, before he got hurt. So there's always that chance of re-injury. So there's that nervousness right there. That's why I'm not like super super excited. But if he's able, Lord willing, he's able to last the game, and if he's able to last to the end of the game, then you are. Then I think that you're going to have a strong performance there from Kyron Williams. I think you're going to be pretty happy with him. All right, so Jerome Ford against Denver. I mean, yes, of course you're going to start Jerome. You're going to start all your running backs against Denver, right? I mean, that just seems to be where to hit them. The it's not passing, and they have there's all indications they're still going with the same quarterback from last week, the rookie. So I would start Jerome Ford. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to be focused. The Browns are going to be focused on Ford. And I think that defense is going to get them in a good spot. Let's talk about. I talked about Gus Edwards. What about Keaton Mitchell? All right, how about that? Keaton Mitchell's a good flex play. He's like that guy, man. Like, you just don't know if he's going to pop or not. He might. Remember what I said the last episode? A Russian rocket ship. That's what he is. Keaton Mitchell is a Russian rocket ship, right? He might blow up on the pad, or he might make it to the moon. We'll find out together, or blow up somewhere in the middle. We'll find out, right? We'll find out together. Najee Harris you can't start him, man. I'm sorry, dude. I cannot recommend starting him. If you have to, understand, but I cannot recommend it. It just seems like Warren looks like the better back. We're now, in a situation where it's a 50-50 split. He's if he goes hot hand, then it'll be Warren. So, you understand where we're at. Ty Chandler. He's a guy that I would, if you have to put him in your flex, he's an okay flex play. I wouldn't mind having him on my roster. I just want to see what happens, man. I played him last week because, like I said, I'm a Bajan manager, and he is, and that was my replacement because at the time I was hoping that Madison was going to be out, but so it was tight. It was tight, But he scored it was a tight watching the game, but he performed. The reason why he did so well was because of that 31-yard gain on that trick play. Keep that in mind, okay, whenever you look at his numbers. All right, so yeah, just keep all that in mind. Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt is startable. He's definitely startable against Denver. So yeah, I think he would be a good running back too, flex play. Let's see here, and how we feel about James Cook against Philadelphia? How are we feeling about that? I'm not feeling that at all. Yeah, he's a sit. How are we feeling about? I mean, dude, Philadelphia's defense is tough. You're not gonna do that. After it's not the inconsistent usage and all that. No, it's not good. James Conner, dude, he is TD dependent. He really is. Against the Rams, that stout Ram front line, I wouldn't do that. So I think I would, if I had the option, I would have tried to pivot away from Conner. I don't want to start him. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders against Tennessee. No, you're not going to do that. I've already told you about. Did I? Yeah, I think I did tell you Khalil Herbert's a sit. Alexander Madison. Man, like I said, man, he's got fumble problems. He's a great power runner. So I wouldn't start him if I didn't have to. I mean, it was so exciting thinking he was going to be the guy getting all of it, but then Chandler looks like it's his opportunity. So yeah, just keep an eye on Chandler. That's all I can say to you. That's all I can say about that. All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on to wide receivers. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and move on to some wide receivers. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the easy ones. Stephon Diggs, the easy one. AJ Brown, easy one. Let's see here. Puka Nacua. Yeah, I've already talked to you about Puka Nacua, but let me talk to you about his running mate. Let's see. Let me go ahead and talk to you about him. Cooper Kupp. Now, Cooper Kupp has been said he's going to play. He's been cleared to play. He's the head coach Sean McVay said he's going to play. Um, Dude, he has a low ankle sprain, right? Those things, and it's he was wanting to come back in the game, but they were not allowing him to do that, and he's already banged up. I just because here's what I'm concerned about. All right, this is what I'm concerned about. Okay, first of all, let me just go and tell you, I would not start Cooper Kupp. I'm not recommending you to start Cooper Kupp even against Arizona, and let me tell you why. Okay, that if that ankle does not, there's three likely scenarios that I see. Okay, on the horizon. There's four scenarios. The first one's what you're hoping for. Oh, Arizona, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be fine, and that could happen. There's at least a 25% chance of that happening. There is at least 25% chance. The other 75% chance is broken up in this way, and these are all 25% chances also. Re-injury of that, okay, of that ankle, a compensatory injury. In other words, he's compensating for the ankle, putting too much stress on something else and causing it an injury, or he's a decoy. Okay, all those that, and then the four, and then he goes to the moon. So these are the four things that you're talking about that could happen, and in my estimation, they all have equal opportunity and chance of that happening. Do you really want that? If you're, again, if you've qualified for the playoffs already, sure, go for it, man. Have fun for it. Enjoy the rest of the season, the regular season, because that's going to be your time to relax because it's about to get hairy. All right. For the rest of us that are fighting for a playoff spot, it's already hairy. So do you want that? Four equal parts of something happening, three of them not really that good, and the one is 25%. I mean, this happens. I mean, it was less than 25% chance that the Miami defense was going to intercept a Hail Mary and then run it back for 99 yards for a touchdown. Less than 25%, and it happened. So it's possible. It's possible. It's just if I'm fighting for my life, man, I'm not wanting that. But Puka, I think is going to do well. Don't worry about that. Jamar Chase. I want to make sure to talk about Jamar Chase. He's a guy you're always going to start. All right, he's the alpha. You look at him like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson had a pretty good day, didn't he? If you look at his numbers, didn't do bad, right? Those alphas are able to do that, and uber talented alpha like Jamar Chase, you're not going to sit him, and I'm never recommending sitting him. DJ Moore, okay. I think he's a start. He's going to to me, I would always start him as long as Field is behind center. Tank Dell, dude, come on. Tank Dell is the wide receiver one. They're playing against Jacksonville. This is the number one and number two of the division. Okay, and they're trying to gain ground on each other. Or excuse me, the Jacksonville are trying to gain ground away. The Texans are trying to even up the score. Yeah, dude, this is a big game at home. Tank Dell definitely, man. Oh man, it's gonna be an exciting game. Woo! Can't wait to see it tomorrow. Lord, I hope it's as good as it seems like it's going to be. Mike Evans. He's doing great. He's fantastic. You're always going to start him. And of course, I already talked to you about Michael Pittman, and I didn't talk to you about Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman, Josh Downs are fantastic starts. Okay, they kind of connect. I did talk to him a little bit about it when I was talking about Gardner Minshew, which is Tampa Bay's passing defense is not non-existent. Josh Downs is amazing. You saw him make that incredible catches. That was whenever he was hurt. He's coming off a bye week. He and all reports are that he's been practicing in full. He's 100% fine in his mind and what the team's telling us. So he's a strong start. Michael Pittman's a strong start. I would say these guys are equal. I would not say one or the other. All right, because I know that it's easy to look at the stats and see that Michael Pittman has been getting targeted more, but those are a little skewed because Downs has been hurt for the past couple of weeks. All right, so keep that in mind. So don't be afraid to start Downs. Please don't. DeAndre Hopkins against Carolina, that's a sit in my opinion, because I think that the Titans are going to attack through the ground through a combination of both Henry and a little bit of Spears, but mostly Henry. Henry's going to be, I don't know if I gave him as much credit as I should. I think he has a really good chance of being a running back one, the running back one of the week. He's going to have a great game. It's just going to happen. So if you're playing against him like I am, I'm just putting a bit in my mouth and biting down. Went through that noon game, that noon series of games. Just hopefully the Lord shine. Blesses me on other sides so I can withstand that. Keenan Allen, he's a must start. Even against Baltimore, he's an alpha. Even whenever Justin Herbert's had the bad games that he's had this week, Keenan Allen still had good games. He's great, fantastic. He should start with no problem. Devontae Smith, of course, with no Goddard, because Goddard is out. I don't think I mentioned that in the inactives because he's been out. So Goddard's still out. Devontae Smith had a great week last week. I think it's going to do the same now. Devontae Adams. Dude, you saw what happened last week. That can happen. All right, this is why you start Chase. This is why you start Garrett Wilson. Now you have the confidence to start Garrett Wilson is because they're able to do what Devontae Adams just did. That big long touchdown, bam, he had a great week, and that can happen. Against Kansas City. We've seen Kansas City. Last week Kansas City's defense weren't as strong as I was hoping it to be. Maybe they'll get their stuff together. We'll see how it goes, but. And they're going to really need to pass it because I think that Kansas City is going to come back angry. They lost against the Eagles in a Super Bowl matchup at home, and it's because their receivers could not catch. They're going to be mad. Come at hard. Chris Olave, dude, look, Michael Thomas is on the IR. That's one less target, okay? And I think that he's going to do fine. I would start Chris Olave with confidence, expecting like wide receiver 2, very strong flex numbers. So that's what I'd be happy about with him. So don't be too nervous about starting him. Cortland Sutton against Cleveland. No, I'm not doing that. I understand about all the receiving the touchdowns, and anytime they get in the red zone, they're not running. It's Cortland Sutton. I wouldn't do it. And then let's see here, Christian Kirk. Yeah, Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. All right. Now that Zay Jones is back, I wouldn't start Zay Jones. We saw like when Zay Jones was back again last week, Calvin Ridley did great, and Zay Jones has been out all year except for 1 week, week 1, and that was when Calvin Ridley was awesome. So you can kind of see it. I would see, but the problem is I would go ahead and start Christian Kirk, okay, and I would start. The problem with Ridley is that he's been doing so bad for so long that it's difficult in this time. Again, if you already got a playoff spot, start him. Have fun. If not, if you're fighting for it, man, hopefully you have something else better, man. What could you possibly have? Like Tank Dell. Well, hopefully I'd Tank Dell. I mean, of course, somebody you can pick off the wire. That would be great. Tank Dell or those are all obvious ones, right? Josh Downs. I would start Josh Downs above those two guys, just because I just don't know how it's going to be. And, man, this Houston defense, I'm telling you, it's going to surprise people. It's going to be an interesting game. But Christian Kirk has always been somebody that's been consistent. I'm not sure about but Ridley, golly, the Texans have been big. Okay, start Ridley in the flex, okay, with the idea that he could kill you. And same thing with Kirk. I think they're probably about the same way. Start their strong flex plays because we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen here. All right, and I'm not that big of a believer on Trevor Lawrence. That's what I'm saying. I can see where you could start him, but flex. I'm really worried about Ridley because he just that prove it, man. He did it the prior time from last week was whenever he scored that huge touchdown against Buffalo in England. Okay, so anyway. Nico Collins, of course, is a great start. One of my favorite starts of this week on wide receiver is Zay Flowers. You saw what he did in week 1 without Andrews. He was the target leader, and now they're going to be playing against the Chargers. I think that it's going to be a great time for Flowers. I'd start him with confidence. He was questionable. They were scary on Thanksgiving whenever he did not practice, but he practiced in full Friday. He's told the media he's playing. Don't worry about it. He's good to go. And let's see here. Jordan Addison. Okay, it's really easy. If Justin Jefferson doesn't start, Jordan Addison's good. If Justin Jefferson does start, don't start Jordan Addison. It's that easy. It really is. Yeah. Drake London. No Marshawn Lattimore. I think that he would be a solid start, wide receiver 2. Flex. I think he would be a that way because of the no Marshawn Lattimore. I told you about that earlier, and that is the alpha of the receiving corps. So that's the one I would roll the dice on. Odell Beckham Jr. from the Ravens. He's a game time decision, so that's a no count. He talked about it being in pain and all that stuff, and so I wouldn't trust him. He's a sit in my opinion. DeMario Douglas. Yeah. No, we're talking about DeMario. It's me, DeMario. Yeah. How about we feel about him? Yeah, he's the best receiver overall this season, so he's a fine floor play for PPR. Sounds like a good flex in my opinion. Deontay Johnson and Pickens, again, I talked to you said earlier, I would sit those guys and let's see how that new offense goes. We already talked about Rashee Rice. If something happens and Cooper Kupp doesn't start everybody, Tutu Atwell will be a great play. But if he doesn't, then Tutu Atwell is not a good play. All right. Again, remember those 4 things I told you about with Cooper Kupp? Those things all apply with Tutu Atwell. Except for to the moon. But all the other ones would be good for Tutu Atwell still. That's a little nervy whenever you're fighting for your life. Khalil Shakir, okay. He could kill it in the slot again versus the biggest weakness in Philadelphia, which is coverage, which is the slot. So he should be a good, safe floor play for a flex. For the flex, in PPR. So, that he's kind of the guy that's not going to kill you, but hopefully he'll get that big touchdown. We'll see. But yeah, the Philadelphia definitely is beatable in the air. Adam Thielen, how about him, man? Against Tennessee. Yeah, dude, that's a great start. That's exactly where you attack Tennessee, is in the air. Thielen's been the most dependable back. The most versatile, sure-handed, of course. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Thielen, I think, is a fine wide receiver, too. Fine running back. Fine flex play. Amari Cooper. Man, he should get Patrick Surtain, dude. I would sit. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson, man, no, I wouldn't do that. And that Denver defense is starting to look better. Yeah, so Amari Cooper is a sit, in my opinion. Gabe Davis. Oh, man. Dude, if you're if you're in a playoff spot, have fun. Man, let's see what happens. Have fun. But if you're not, you're fighting for it? No, I wouldn't put that guy in there to help fight for my playoff life, or Chris Godwin. Even though Rachaad White's a little banged up, Chris Godwin he's just in a rough spot against Indianapolis. They defend on the outside real well, so I wouldn't do that. Plus, it's been obvious that Mayfield looks straight to Evans, and that's basically who he looks at. Jacoby Myers should not even be on a roster. Let's see, Jerry Jeudy. It's against Cleveland, so no, he's a sit. I think I already talked about Tyler Boyd. So I already told you about that. Elijah Moore against Denver. Again, Denver's defense, he's a sit to me. Rashee Rice. Now, him and A.T. Perry, those two guys are interesting to me because without Michael Thomas, A.T. Perry did do well, last week. So both these guys, I think A.T. Perry would probably be... it would probably go Olave, Perry, and then Shaheed. Okay, so Perry is an okay flex against Atlanta. I already told you about how their defense is game. So no Thomas might not be too bad. All right, so let's go ahead and let's keep this thing moving. Let's go ahead and go to some tight ends. How about we do that? All right, so let's go start with the easy ones. Travis Kelce. TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Kincaid, all these guys. These are good starts that you're not going to be worried about. Dude, David Njoku, 15 targets. Yeah, if you're gonna start any passing option on Cleveland, Njoku's the guy. Yeah, he seems to be the whoopee. Yeah, for the rookie. So I think that as far as for tight end specific leagues. David Njoku is a fine pick. Play. Kyle Pitts. You know what? Yeah. Everybody's been talking mess about Kyle Pitts. Yeah, dude, look, it's he's not what we thought he was going to be, right? Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, had a little bit of a miscue there. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, so back to Pitts. Yeah, so he's not what we were hoping for, but in this situation where it looks like the Saints are going to be beatable through the pass, he's definitely one of their best passing options. Kyle Pitts, I think in tight specific leagues, he's a good play. Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz against Jacksonville. Yeah, man. I mean, he's either, gets catches, yards, touchdowns, all the above. Dalton Schultz is a strong start, must start. Trey McBride, holy mackerel! I told you about those people that were out. I talked about it earlier. So I think Trey McBride, he has a favorable matchup against the Rams. So I think he's going to be Kyler Murray's favorite target. Trey McBride's a great play. Taysom Hill, Voldemort. Yeah, he's delivered as a running back. He delivered. I mean, if Derek Carr is hurt, you might see more of him as a quarterback. Taysom Hill, I think, is a very strong start. How about Juwan Johnson? All right, same for the Saints. Dude, he's the more traditional tight end, okay? And no Michael Thomas. Keep an eye on him. I wouldn't start him, but definitely would put him on my bench, see what happens. Let's see here. Pat Freiermuth. Okay, Pat Freiermuth is a gamble. He's okay. This is one of those things again, dude. If you are qualified for playoffs, have fun. If not, I would try not to go with Freiermuth because he needs to prove it first. I would start Kate Otten. Okay, Kate Otten over those guys, over Freiermuth and over Juwan Johnson. Okay, so just to give you an idea there, Kate Otten, yeah, yeah, he did very well last week, and I'm hopeful. So I would start him. Cole Kmet also is a strong start. Evan Ingram, he is due. He is due for a touchdown. It is happening this week. Okay, Evan Ingram's going to get a touchdown, so I think that he would be a fine start. Jonnu Smith depends. Okay, you know what? You're either a Jonnu Smith man or you're a Kyle Pitt man. Whatever way you go. Okay, that's the way to go. All right, so because the New Orleans is going to be able to be beaten by the air, so it's a, you know, uh, but I go Pittman, sit Jonnu Smith because of just because of Desmond Ritter. Yeah, I would go with Pittman and not Smith. Michael Mayer, I don't know, man. Michael Mayer for the Raiders against Kansas City. I don't think he's a good start. No, I would sit him. I just don't like anything connected to the Raiders except for Jacobs and Adams. That's just the whole truth of the matter. All right, so let's go through defenses real easy. This is not going to be too hard. You probably already got it figured out. The Chiefs against Vegas, yes. The Steelers against Cincinnati, yeah. The new quarterback, you always want to do that. So yeah, Steelers is a good start. The Browns against Denver, I've been talking about it all episodes, so I think that's good. Broncos versus Cleveland, yeah, that's a good start because of it's the quarterback situation. Patriots, Giants, Patriots. Okay, they both have shaky quarterbacks. All right, so they should be able to get a lot of sacks, right? But I would put the Patriots defense over the Giants because I am a huge believer in Ramondre Stevenson, and I think that he's going to, you know what, I would say start the Patriots and sit the Giants. I'm going to tell you to do that, all right? I would sit the Saints, okay, against Atlanta. I just don't like it without Lattimore. The Vikings versus Chicago. I don't want to start them. I mean, they're okay, but I wouldn't want to start them against Chicago. It just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's prime time. It's at home. Nah, man, not against Justin Fields. If Justin Fields wasn't there, then nah. The Eagles versus the Buffalo. You know what? I'm gonna get a little saucy here. No, man, I'm gonna say sit the Eagles. All right, because I think that Buffalo is gonna throw a lot against the Eagles, and that's where their weakness is. So I would say sit the Philadelphia Eagles defense. The Ravens against the Chargers. Of course, you're gonna go ahead and start them because there's just so many sacks that O-line for the Chargers gives up. So I think the Ravens are a good start. They're a good start, not a strong start, but a good start. The Bengals against Pittsburgh, I would sit them. The Colts versus Tampa Bay, I wouldn't do that. And the Jaguars against Houston, I would not start anything against Houston's defense. That's just not our offense. I'm not playing that game. Okay, especially with my playoff life, like in the balance. But all right. I think we got it. We got all the start sit. So that's the last minute start sit advice for week 12. Hopefully it'll help you out. Hopefully help you make those decisions right now when everything's like crunching down, so but let me go ahead and make sure and thank everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And please hit the like and the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let us know that you're out there loving the show. Make sure to click that bell. You get all the shorts, you get this last minute start sit advice, you get the weekly show or the show during the week, I should say. Yeah, it's weird how saying it like that. That was a weird way to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. We do 2 shows a week, so you'll get noticed when we do that. Whenever anything pops up, we do these sniper episodes. So whenever we're not able to get if something pops up between episodes, to help you make a start sit decision or how to react to something, we'll do sniper episodes. So hit that bell. Yeah, just hit that bell. That way you'll get notice that every episode is up. And make sure, of course, check out highvolumemusicradio.com. Okay, and of course my show, Drive Time Sports with Charlie and Brian on High Volume Music Radio. That's every Thursday between 4 and 6. Check out Connor's book, You Know Too Much. All right. So on behalf of me, your humble host, Brian the Amigo Baldwin, want to thank you so much for watching. Hope that this year is even better year than the last. Parting shot, man. I've been talking about it all week long, or all episode long. For the people that are not qualified, that are fighting for their playoff lives, the playoffs are here. You're living week to week, everybody. All right? Now keep this in mind. This is the playoff mentality. It's better to put a good player, okay, a good strong player in a good situation, in a really good matchup. It's better to play them than it is to play one of your, like, a really strong player against a terrible matchup. Okay, remember, that's a playoff mantra. So we are now needing to think that now. Why am I doing this? I don't know. It looks weird. Sorry about that. Okay, I just saw it. I'm like, man, it looks weird. Okay, but no, I'm telling you. Make sure to matchups count. Okay, just like you saw with Charbonnet this past on Thanksgiving. Great player, great situation, bad matchup, didn't do that well. So remember that. Okay, keep that mantra there. Watch the matchups. Make good decisions. Pray. Okay. Remember, pray, ask for help, okay? He controls everything. And, dude, I'm hoping the best for everybody. Seriously, I hope every one of y'all are able to make it to the playoffs and get y'all a ring. This is what we're here for. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Thank you so much. Let's end this with the last line. Remember, everyone, in fantasy football, as in life, don't dream it, be it. All right, thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic Sunday and a fantastic fantasy football day. All right. Bye-bye.